Good night, fellow punchers. The clock on the wall is 10 minutes past 10 on Wednesday night. Back with a couple for tomorrow and a look at a big race that's taking place tomorrow in the southern part of the country. We had what? We had four today. I was saying last night, I was thinking with a bit of look at it'd be sort of hard or difficult that they wouldn't get placed. What happened? Only one wins, one gets placed, and the others, hard to know what happened to them. The winner was the first one, so we're playing with bookies. Money, PK, out to 7-1 during the day, probably because the ground wasn't as heavy as it was last year. Loves heavy ground by Nathaniel out of a Baratea mare. They'd wanted up to their knees if they could. Shows when a test of stamina comes into play. PK is at its strongest, so one handy. Then Power Claim was next. Sometimes when they're drawn high in Navan, they all come over. Today they didn't. They stayed on the fair rail. The ground must have been quicker there. Ran isolated and finished fifth. If it had a bit of help, it probably would have finished in the first three. I'm getting a bit wary of it this year. That's twice I've had nice each way bets on it and no good. Well, we got our money back the first time, but today it's not progressing like I thought it might. And Navaggio, that actually, when it's coming wide on the outside, travelling like a dream, it went odds on in running. But its effort quickly petered out, like if it was shot by a bookie. Maybe it was. To do anything not to pay out. And Kiowa Harini, or Nini, or Rini. I said last night I normally don't go near 0 to 60s. That's why, but I thought a younger horse and it might have some bit of scope for improvement, but no, it wasn't to be. On to tomorrow. I'll give you a double. Two Shorties double. It's working out just over 6-1 for the double. There is a maiden in Tipperary, in Thurles, which is in Tipperary. It's a long way there. Sorrentino is rated 87, and it seems to be the right favourite. Putting in this one as one of the legs of the double. It will be the second leg. The other one is running earlier. Won a bumper and good to yielding. The second one was well fancied behind Monson Michel or Michael in Killarney. And then the last, the Lark in the morning, beat it. But it sort of got, it was choppy ground on the rail and it sort of got, even though it sort of got blocked a little bit in its run, it finished with a bit in the tank. A draw favourite for that. Rate 87, Alan Keane, who had a good day today. You'd imagine it back up to 2 mile, it should be hard enough bet. Three Man Baby is the one that's vying for favouritism. The other leg is in Bath or Bath, but Bath they call it over there. There's a Fillies and Mares listed race. Now, normally this is won by a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old because 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds are gone to the breeding sheds, I would imagine, by then. But terms of endearment, this used to be with Henry de Bromhead. Sold last year, last run was in Longchamp for Henry. Went off actually for hot favourite. In Longchamp, 15-8 favourite. I think that was soft ground sort of came on shook. That was on the Sunday. but was sold after that for 1.3 million. Raced in Medan and then beaten favourite 3 times, but they were in Group 3, Group 2, and a listed affair. There is a doubt about Siege of Troy, Stay in the Distance, and Tom Marquand. So it raced 105. It was a few pounds higher before. You'd imagine as much money as the owner has, he'd be trying to get a few pounds back. Probably bought it for breeding, but you'd imagine that it should be hard enough. There's actually that 3-year-old down there, Aquietus, for David O'Meara. That was impressive enough the last time. It was odds on, but it looked good. We backed that Oxford Comma back before. There's a race in that at some point, but probably more in a handicap perhaps. So they'll be the double. It's working out about 6-1, 7-4, and 13-8. There's a nice little race at Ayr on heavy ground. I'm hoping it's heavy. A horse were back before 2 runs back or 3 runs back was Lord Birthday, but it needs 7 furlongs. I'm thinking. Mr. Sketch, I think he needs better ground. Woven, hard to know at times. It ran on well in Ayr. Was it in the Silver Cup? But there's a horse that might like to get his toe in, lightly raced. I think they were keeping it to an autumn campaign. Station X for Brian Smart. Only a 3-year-old, but it was coming right here on heavy, on soft ground. There's one on heavy of 75, and it won its last run last year in soft ground in Doncaster of 79. Came back in this year good to soft. Needed the run, you would imagine, but was only beaten by a neck. Then it was in a higher class race, and the last day in Ripon, after getting a little bit of a break, ran well enough, and that's the grey here, isn't it? It's a little shorter room here. That was it. Ball burst, game over. Ran on again then. I've Dubai, we were on the winner that day. But it good to soft. It's better with cut in the ground, more cut. And it could be hard to pick back if it gets out in front. It's an each way play there at 13-2. Then it brings us to the race of the day, the race of the planet. 5:15 at Thurles, 2 miles yielding ground. The drier the better for us. As I was saying last night, going Tony Martin, that was behind Glen Royal in Down Royal, and we were behind Glen Royal in Galway. Empress Alma won this race last year off a pound higher. It's 66-67. The best handicapped horse in the field is Grand's Boy. If you go on figures, and I'd be a figures man. If I was handicapping this race without no involvement in any horse or anything at all, I'd be saying this is a bet. And I'll tell you why. It's rated 57. It's rated 126 now after winning in Listowel. The thing was, that was over 2.5. And when it won in Fairy House as well, it was over 2.5 miles. It hasn't won a hurdle race over 2 miles. The other one that won was 2 miles 3. So has it improved since it ran on the flat last? We don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. Because it wasn't able to win off 63 or 62. One was over 2 miles and one was 1.5 miles. And indeed, a mile and that was last year. Has it improved, or is it just that it's a better hurler? but it normally I'd add on £40, so 57 and 40 be 97, and it has £30 there. It's 126. What else have we? We have the Truant, who Roscommon owned as well. Top weight. It's in and out. We don't know whether it's going to be in and out. We have a lot of questions to be answered tomorrow. We stay at 2 mile. I probably would have preferred if we had went up from 1 mile 4 to 1 mile 6, with the view to either going up farther or coming back down, because it's a big rise from 1 mile 4 straight off the bat to him. But anyway, decision made. We have to go with it. We'll find out. Just staying on in Galway over 1.5 miles. It's drawn wide, but the winner of the last 2 years was 10 and 17. So the draw mightn't be as I thought it might make a big difference, but if we have speed to get out into position, there it is, 10 and 17. And I don't know what happened, there's no information for the previous years. But there was full fields nearly every year. The other fancied horses are drawn wide as well. Going is Empress Alma's in 5 and Going is in 6. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. It opened up with the green bookie. It opened up 20 to 1. I didn't get it, but it immediately came into 12s, and it's 11s pretty much all over now. I'd be hoping that we'd be in the first 4, that anyone that has an each way bet would get a profit on their money if it doesn't win. So that's my honest assessment of the race. We'll be trying, so we don't know whether we're well handicapped at the distance. We don't know whether the draw is going to be a problem. We don't know how well handicapped the other horses are. It's a tricky little race for a 0 to 70, to be honest. There's a lot of I didn't mention Trubshaw there, Gabriella Hill either, Plunkett Street. I mean, all depends with luck and running as well and whatever. So there's about, I think, 10 or 11 going tomorrow, names. Anyone that's going, drop it in the comment. I have a couple of names put in that aren't going, but we'll be able to get somebody in on those names. You get in for nothing and a badge. I like to see as many people there. It's awkward because it's a Thursday, it's a working day. It actually suits me because I'm not on tour. If it was next week, I'll be gone because I'm away Sunday. Sunday night I'm staying in Dublin and then starting a tour Monday morning, the 13th to the 21st. So if it was next week, you wouldn't know where I'd be. So we'll see at the end of the month. Then there'll probably be. Peter does that. He brings them back over the flat for one and then back over hurls. See, it worked there with a horse there signed from above recently. He ran it in a Cesarovich trial in England, then brought it back over hurls in Ireland, and it won next time out. So something that he has done before. So let's hope for a safe journey to everybody tomorrow travelling, and for the horse a safe journey roundabout, and that she gets home safely. That's the main thing. So bash the bookies, over and out.